You've identified a house. Let's talk about all the delays that could happen while going through the home buying process and how to overcome them in understanding the mortgage process. So stay tuned as we show you how to overcome delays and have a successful closing. You've identified a house. Congratulations. That's great news. I know that, being a homeowner of many years now, it's definitely one of the best things that can happen, and there's a lot of excitement when you're buying a home. However, it's really important to really understand what the mortgage process is. In this presentation, we're going to kind of explain to you what the mortgage process is, some of the issues that you can encounter and how to overcome these, and what the consequences are if you do not close on time, and how we can help at the Xie Mortgage team and Nexa Nation. Number one, what is the mortgage process? The mortgage process is, hey, we've already seen all the videos, you qualified, you're out shopping, now you have found the home. What do you have to account for? You got to account for time for everything. That is the home inspection, the title work, the processing part of things, the underwriting part, the pre-approval, or not the pre-approval, but the approval process, and all these other things, okay? So let's break it down one step at a time. Number one, home inspection. Make sure you're finding a licensed home inspector that can go in and review everything. I would also get a home inspector and your termite and moisture inspection done on the same day. I don't care where you're located. There's gonna be some sort of humidity. There's gonna be some sort of pest that can damage the house, whether it's in a drier environment or more humid environment. Having all those inspections is crucial. And even though they may not be mandatory, I would highly recommend it because you're going into one of the biggest purchases of your life. Number two, now that we've gone through that process, you're going to go through a processor. And the processor is the person that's actually taking your loan and getting you through the process. We are the loan officer. You can think of us like the attorneys of the transaction. The processor is going to be the paralegal who gathers all the documents, who does all the work of coordinating with the title company and all the other vendors that are needed on your loan. And then finally, the underwriter, they're the judge of the loan, okay? They're gonna take a look at your loan package that the processor has put together and say, hey, this is either a really good package that you put together that pleads your case and shows me that you qualify for this loan, or it's really bad and now you're having a lot of conditions, and people have all been through that process. When I first got into the industry, I was guilty of that process, but now we're a well-oiled machine. We've got a really good assembly line. Everyone knows their job and we get the loan done. So knowing that that judge is the one that we have to please, that's gonna sign off on your loan, is really, really important. Now, during that process, we are gonna order an appraisal. An appraisal is really crucial because they're gonna tell you what the value of the home is, if there's any safety, sanitary, or structural issues of concern, the cost for remediation, and what needs to be done in order to meet the loan criteria. If you're buying an investment property, they're going to possibly give us a rental comp schedule, which is going to tell us what the house will rent for. Now that we've gone through all the happy stuff, let's go through all the delays and common roadblocks. So number one, there's found during the appraisal or survey process. Maybe there's a lien on the property that should not be there. Maybe there's a common name, like your name is Jim Smith, and there's other Jim Smiths out there that may have judgments or collections or anything that may pop up, and we have to fix all that. Other things are like the appraisal comes back, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and you're negotiating with the seller, and the seller's like, hey, I gave you a great deal on the house already in the beginning. Paying for all this closing costs, I'm not going to do anything. At that point, you have to decide whether this is the house for you. Same thing with surveys. They map out all the property lines that belong to you. I recently went through a situation on a house that I purchased as an investment property where there was a fence that was called out by the city, and the city says, hey, the fence has to be fixed. When I found out about that, I had to get a survey to determine whose property line it was in because a permit had to be pulled to take the fence down. Another thing is a low appraisal. Low appraisal can come back. You may have a purchase price of $500,000 on the contract. Everything looks great. You're willing to pay the $500,000. However, the appraisal comes in at $450,000. That's really extreme, $50,000 difference, but it did happen in the last couple of years quite a bit because people were over offering on houses. So when that happens, you have to make a decision. We go to the seller, we ask them to cover the 50 grand shortage, or you cover the 50 grand shortage, or you split it. So, and if that's something that cannot be worked out, then you're gonna have issues. Other thing, buyer or seller remorse. That's a big deal, right? Hey, I'm a seller. I've lived in this house so long, I don't want to sell it. We really wanted to sell it, but when we started shopping for a house, we couldn't find anything that's going to suit our needs. So seller may back out. You as the buyer may go through the process, and you're talking to all your friends and family, and they're telling you all the negative things, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to buy it. So backing out is a big deal too. When you back out as a buyer, the seller can sue you. Just be very, very careful about doing something like that. So when you enter into a contract, make sure you are 100% or at least 99.9% sure that you want to go through with the home. Another common thing is difficulties getting financing. We always talk about it, right? Go to a lender that can give you options. I was just talking to a buddy earlier today. Someone went to a national company that only has one option. Guess what? If anything happens, during that process, they went to that one investor, that one lender that's telling them, hey, I can do your conventional loan for you. However, if and when there's an issue or a misunderstanding between the loan officer and the consumer and something goes bad with the financing, guess what? They're going to be stuck. That appraisal fee for that conventional loan is not going to count anymore, and they'll have to go find another lender. Whereas when you work with a wholesale lender like us, we could shoot it out to 197 different investors and say, hey, will you do this conventional loan? Half of them can come back and say no, and the other half could say yes. And then at that point, we would look for the best thing for the consumer, whether it's the pricing, the product, or the speed. Whatever it is, we can find it and we can help you win. Insurance companies not insuring a property is a big deal. I would say when I purchased my home down in Florida, that was a big issue. They said, hey, the roof is X amount of years old. And at that point, we negotiated repair cost, and we got a new roof installed, and got really good prices on insurance. Whereas before the roof was done, we were having a really big issue with it. Now that we've kind of gone through some of the delays, what are the consequences of not closing on time? If it's on the seller side, the consequences is that you're going to have to pay for a lock extension fee if you locked it in. Make sure you understand your contract. What is the closing date? What is the guaranteed extension date? And at that point, you really have to factor out, okay, if I have a 30-day closing with a 10-day extension in there, do I want to lock it in for 30 days or 40 days? Do I want to wait 10 days to lock it in? Because each day that you extend the lock, there's going to be a cost. When you deal with a diamond status lender like us, a lot of our lenders do give us a buffer in there, maybe a 5 or 10 day extension fee for free, but not every lender is going to work with you like that. Failure to get your loan approved and financing, that's a big deal too. You may be going through the process and you can't get the loan approved. Now, the lender's going to have to give the seller a denial letter, or you're going to have to go find other financing and get it approved by the seller. And at that point, the ball's fully in their court, whether we want to sue, whether we want to renegotiate the price because of the inconvenience, whatever it may be. These are some really big deals, and if you maybe renegotiate, they can say, hey, your earnest money deposit is non-refundable now. And you may have to sign off on something like that. They may not grant an extension to your closing date, or they can make you pay a per diem cost for each day that you have to go find other financing. And really the worst thing would be is if the purchase contract is expired. When we have a closing date that we have to meet, and let's just say it's April 1st, there's no guaranteed extension in there. If that purchase contract is expired, then and the seller does not agree to extend it, it's null and void. So everything that you've done, everything that you've paid for is gone out the window, out the door, however you want to, put it. And then finally, the seller may put it back on the market, and if you go back in and renegotiate, it could be higher cost. Now, how can Nexa help? How can the Xie Mortgage team help you out? We are the world's largest wholesale mortgage broker. We have tons of options. We have wholesale prices, so we're always going to be cheaper than your retail lender. We have options, so if your loan were to get denied by one company, like I said, we have options to reshop it, and we have alternative options too. So if the income was miscalculated, or during the process you lost your job, however you're putting enough down to go non-conforming, we have options where we can help. How we can prevent delays is that when we get a full complete application in, which has the rule of 2 months of assets, 2 months of income, and 2 months of liabilities, if we have all of that information all up front so that we're not chasing documents throughout the process and experiencing tons of delays between getting the documents, that's going to help you out. And then finally, the availability of us as loan officers. I don't do anything else. I do this full time, and that's really important when you're out there shopping for your loan officer. You need to make sure that number one, your loan officer is full time. You need to make sure that your loan officer has done loans. There's 60,000 loan officers based on some information that I was provided that do more than half a loan a month. And then the rest of the other like 2 point like something million NMLS numbers, which are the loan officer license numbers, not even counting the banks who are unlicensed, they don't do any loans, right? So when that happens, you need to make sure that the loan officer that you're dealing with absolutely knows everything that's going on with the loan, how to pivot if there's a situation that comes up. So make sure when you're shopping for your loan and that pricing or that product, make sure you're also shopping the loan officer's knowledge. And you can do a quick lookup on the NMLS licensing lookup to see where they've had their licenses in the past, how long they've been doing business, and things like that. So my number is 6 figures long, okay? So I've been doing this for 16 plus years. Now we are into the 3 million. So I'm like 200,000. We're into the 3 million number now. With all this being said, it's really important to shop so that you're avoiding delays. My name is David Xie. I'm with the Xie Mortgage team powered by Nexa Mortgage. I'd love to help you out. My phone number is 757-478-8493. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, comment below, and I am out.